question again is coming from my left. It's very painful. Mr. Chairman, Ayawaso has been my Waterloo. It's something that in the performance of the duty of the state, an individual has been unjustifiably held liable for something that that individual knows nothing about. I have perused the 500-page report of the Ayawaso West Wuogon Commission, more than 500 pages. And my name was not mentioned anywhere in the report as having done anything. In fact, if you look at the findings, and I have a copy, an abridged version of the findings here. If you look at the findings of the report, Mr. Chairman, except for Chapter 3, Findings and Recommendations, bullet point 17. The Chairman, for the record, I want to read. In this regard, the Commission finds that these persons were deployed. These persons here means the SWAT team were deployed and commanded by a police officer named DSP Samuel Azugu under the authority of the Director of Operations of the National Security Secretariat. It continues to say that, and with the ultimate responsibility of the Minister of State for National Security. Honorable Chairman, I'm not too sure what the Minister of State for National Security is doing here in these findings, because there's no evidence was adduced in the committee to suggest that the Minister of State for the Ministry of National Security was in fact the authority under which the SWAT people, I'm talking about the functional organogram of the Ministry of National Security. There's no evidence to suggest so, that I was responsible for the SWAT team at the Ministry of National Security. So if a finding is made that the people were sent to Ayawaso under the command of a police officer, and the police officer was under the command of a Director of Operations, and the Director of Operations is under the command of the Minister of State of National Security, and the Minister of State of National Security is under the command of the Minister of National Security, and the Minister of National Security is under the command of the President, and so on and so forth. Where does it end? And why would they come and end it at my doorstep? Not being part of the operation, not being part of the command on that day, to come and place a finding that and the Minister of State must have ultimate responsibility. No evidence was given to that. Mr. Chairman, if you look at the recommendations that were made, it frightens me. Of course, the Commission did not recommend, notwithstanding the issue of facts that I have against it, they did not recommend my prosecution, because there was no facts to support that. But they place an individual liability on me. And the individual liability is born out of the fact that, Mr. Chairman, and I read, the Commission recommends that Mr. Bryan Acheampong be reprimanded for his ultimate responsibility as minister in authorizing an operation of that character on a day of an election in a built-up area. Mr. Chairman, even in the unlikely event that I was a Minister of State and authorized that operation, what I am being asked to be reprimanded for It's not a crime.
Honorable, my interest is not the speculation. Did you authorize that operation?
Mr. Chairman, I did not authorize that operation, and that is why it was easy for the white paper to say that they reject the recommendation because it is without basis. But I must add that the Ayawaso incident is a blot on our democracy. I pray that it doesn't happen again. I sympathize with those who are wounded on that day. Indeed, when I was there at the Ministry of National Security, I ensured that all those who were wounded were treated at the 37 military hospital, and all expenses of such were paid by the state that authorized the operation. Subsequent to that, Mr. Chairman, laws have been passed by this House, and today we no longer hear about vigilantism the way we used to hear about it in the past. It was unfortunate it happened. It should never have happened, but be that it may, it's past and gone. But where the liability is being placed is where I think is misplaced.